Hello, hello, everybody. Welcome, welcome. Let's see. Okay. We're getting started here. Let me see. I just got a DM from one of my Patreon members. Hello, hello. Hi, Throne. How are you? Happy Saturday. Just messaging somebody back on TikTok that had messaged me. Okay, let me hop on to TikTok, just about to hop on live. Sorry guys. Happy New Year's. It's been good. I feel like the revitalization. I love Capricorn energy and Capricorn season the beginning of the new year, so for me it helps with that too. Yeah, no problem. Enjoy. Realize now that we can do video or audio messages on TikTok, which I love. Okay, let me get my act together here. Let me get settled for my TikTok crew. Hello, hello, everybody. We are doing some human design, hotline, astrology, psychic mediumship, all the things today, as I usually do. If you are new here, or even if you're not new here, my name is Brenna. Allow me to introduce or reintroduce myself. I'm a human design reader, psychic medium, and astrologer. I think I said all that in order, of 10 and a half years, technically the psychic mediumship part my whole life. And so we'll get our crew that'll start to tune in here, usual crew. I have my Patreon members. For those of you guys who are in my Patreon, remember that you get your one complimentary reading once a month. So today is the day to be able to do that. I'll kind of be looking at the transits ahead for the day, today and tomorrow. As you guys know, I usually do the energy of the days here. So thanks for tuning in, and we'll be doing a little bit of that stuff in between. It's so funny because I was just DMing with one of my clients and beautiful intuitives and astrologers as well, Deanna, who's in my Patreon, and we were chatting about a couple different things just with like spiritual etiquette. And I noticed so much so, hello gorgeous, I was literally just talking about what we were chatting about and how disrespectful it is. And this is the thing, right? Like when people see someone like on your page, right, Deanna? And they did it to me too at the beginning of posting on, hi Flory, the beginning of posting on TikTok as well. And more so in the astrology community than human design, because frankly, not enough people know about human design that quickly as they do astrology to be able to comment that way, right? So it's just kind of like the way the cookie crumbles in that regard. So when I was looking at like your post, and I know exactly how you feel, because the same exact thing has happened to me, and still sometimes it does, because even in here, right, like even people that you know that are still here consistently, when I first started reading, I would be reading for somebody and doing a human design reading on TikTok live, and they would be in the comments commenting other things that they saw in the chart, and being somebody, and I think all of us, right, like when we can add in that we're an intuitive reader, but we use our intuition inherently when we're reading in a shorter reading, right? Because when you have somebody's chart up there, you could start by going and saying, okay, this is your sun sign, this is your rising, this is your moon. And I didn't get to watch the whole video yet. I want to watch it to listen to what you said, because I can help you with that too. I don't think you need it in terms of like content, but like if there's a way that maybe you could structure it that, hi Lana, that makes it feel better for you, or that you can feel like you have a little bit more of a helpful defensive rebuttal for that. But when I would be on live, it cuts into my intuitive read of that person when I have somebody else that's commenting their thoughts or what they're seeing in somebody else's chart. And also it comes down to consent. I think a lot of people forget that, like, when you're reading somebody's birth chart or their astrology, or even doing a psychic mediumship reading for them, like, they paid me to do this service for them, or even if it's free, right? Like, that's your exchange right now, or you're offering, hi Luna, you're offering free readings. Like, they didn't ask for you to read them. They don't know who you are. I have a Scorpio stellium, right? So it's like, I don't want somebody looking at my chart that I didn't consent. If they did, right, like, keep that shit to yourself. And I'm sure, you know, like, as people are watching my lives or your lives or your videos, like, that it's just, it's entitled. And if I had to guess too, the reason it also is so annoying, even more so, you're like, oh, that just feels yucky, is because it's literally you thinking about watching somebody like that and saying that's probably another, like, a bitter projector, or somebody who, like, doesn't have the energy or isn't getting the recognition, even if they're not a projector, but, like, isn't getting their recognition in the way that they want it. And, you know, when it's somebody that doesn't have a profile picture, or, like, doesn't have a username, or they're not really posting, no one takes those kinds of comments as seriously anyway. But, you know, it can also be people, like, I think about the layers of this, it's like, it can also be people that are scammers online that comment on people who they consider, like, easy targets, right? Like, you're just getting started with doing those types of readings for people, so it's like they see it as like, okay, well, if I comment and I comment something, hi Jen, more enhanced, right, or I try to make this whole paragraph and mention their piggyback or ride the coattails really on the things that that person didn't say, then maybe they'll DM me to try to get a reading from me too. We all know that that's kind of the undercurrent. Hello, welcome. No, listen, Deanna, it still happens to me now. I'm like, fuck, like, it's so, because it's just so annoying. Like, listen, I've been doing this 10 years, and Jen, I don't know if you're also a psychic medium or do something along those lines too. Oh, jewelry. Oh, I love that. I love that gem with the gems. I just clicked on your profile quickly. I love that. Anytime I see a little magical emoji, I love that. But I'm talking to Deanna here, about somebody who was, like, kind of weaseling their way in and reading for somebody, that she was reading for, and how, like, it's just rude, right? And the tone is always like an air of, you're welcome, of condescension is really what it feels like. So it's like having those feelings is a protective instinct to say, like, you know, I always say, for me, I've built my entire business over the last 10 years myself, right? I don't come from a wealthy family. I don't have, like, you know, anyone else that's funding my business or my life other than me, right? Now that I'm married, my husband and I, you know, joint forces together, hi Marie, to do that. But it's like, until then, it's like, and I'm always somebody that, like, I'm always going to make sure I have my own thing. Thank you, Danilo. My own thing going on. Like, I want my own income. That's something that makes me feel good about myself. That's like a place of personal empowerment for me. And so it's like nobody is going to come in and in a comment take that away from me, right? So anyone that I'm giving advice to or I'm sharing wisdom from, I'm like, this is how you cut that shit out really quickly, because especially as women, and it struck me as a little derogatory masculine energy in that way for you in that comment, Deanna. I think that, thank you. I think that for it's kind of like understanding like who you start to get a sense of those types of people, especially because we refine the type of algorithm that we're in, right? With being people that are in a spiritual space, and we realize that like we keep refining it, and there's only kind of like 3 to 5 types of people that will comment. And so figuring that out, yeah, oh, absolutely, yeah, and I wanted to understand my response. Yeah, you're protecting what's yours. You see that like this is what, and it's literally like now you can think of it as like when you see other projectors or being a projector, when they give themselves the invitation, when they haven't been recognized, that's what it feels like. And you're like, ew, like that's just yucky at the end of the day. Hi, Neff. So, because what happens is that projectors forget mostly, right, that haven't done like, or anyone that hasn't done like a lot of self-discovery, is that like it never works to piggyback off of somebody else's work unless it's a symbiotic relationship. Like you can still have a transactional relationship with another creator, for example, but you have to know what each other's in it for. There has to be like an understanding of like, okay, like you can comment back to people on my page and read for them, and I'll do the same for you, but it's not a one-way street, especially for somebody that you don't know or you haven't vetted. Like I've had people that have followed me, told me how much they love me, been in my lives all the time, and then all of a sudden they like they've done something completely different. They're not even in the spiritual space, and then they have been in my lives, they tell me that they're taking all these notes, and then they go and they're human design readers. And for me, that's an instant unfollow, because I'm like, I can tell the difference between somebody who wants to learn with me and we work together versus somebody that does that and wants the same type of magnetism because I'm doing the work that I love. But at the end of the day, what I'm teaching people is that you could also be a human design reader, but you have to make sure that it's what your true life's task is. We all want the proper recognition for our gifts and skills. We all deserve that success. We all deserve that attention, but it has to be in the thing that you actually want to be known for or should be known for, not riding the coattails of somehow or some way that you see somebody else being successful. And that's like a uncomfortable line for people to address, because for a lot of people it can feel pretty murky, or for a lot of us, even for myself, it's like, oh, am I allowed to say that? Or like, does that seem like I'm being gatekeepy? But for me, with the instant unfollows with people like that, it's like, okay, so you basically stayed and learned from me, but you don't want to give me credit where credit is due, and now you're becoming a human design reader, when I even actually I haven't personally vetted you. I've been doing this for 10 years and I take my reputation very seriously. Scorpio stellium in the 10th house. Don't fuck with my business, right? Don't fuck with the things that I've created myself, because it's all been myself. So it's like I'm like mama bear over that. It's like my business is like my child, right? There's a reason people say that. So it's like, hi Karina, welcome. So when I see that, I'm like, I haven't even vetted you as somebody that should be doing that. I literally had this experience 2 years ago, or three years ago now, in about like March, April. And I had somebody that asked me to be a part of her spiritual business school, was what it was called, as like the token human design reader. And essentially, like when you do like any kind of spiritual business school, you'll see how, and this is like a great, like when you guys are in this space, and Jen, I'm sure you too, or anybody else, thank you, Raphael, is in the space of like vetting who you want to vend with. This is a great kind of like mindset to get in, and giving you my Scorpio strategy for how I vet people. But I had somebody that found me through TikTok, saw that I had a following, like something was going on here. I have like a very engaged group of you guys that I'm thankful for and that I pay attention to, right? It's not like I just ignore people in the comments, what have you. And they asked me to be part of their spiritual business school. And so in that spiritual business school, it was like she was the astrologer, and like it was her school, obviously. Then I was the human design reader. Then was somebody else that did Reiki. Like everyone had their seat at the communal table. And when I was getting ready one day, and sometimes I'll have like Instagram on, or I'll have something, and I see this post that all of a sudden she's now also doing human design readings. And I was like, okay, so let me like see like what. I reached out to her and I was like, listen, so and so, like I don't like that you, like, let's hop on a call. She essentially pushed me to get on the phone, which I should have just kept it at like the meeting anyway. Hi, Echo Flower. And I was like, listen, like I don't care that you want to do human design readings, but I don't want to be a part of a spiritual business school where there's somebody else coming back and doing like human design readings at the same time, because you haven't done this. You haven't done human design readings. You didn't tell me you were studying human design readings. You didn't tell me you were practicing any of that. And now you have me as a part of your school, and you kind of like baited and switched me into now doing these readings too. So I was just like, I don't want to really be a part of that. And she sent me this whole long text message about how I was jealous, and I was like, I don't want your life. I'm perfectly fine having my own path. I love where I am. You know, I was dating my boyfriend at the time. We weren't engaged yet. Now my husband. And I was like, I just don't like when people pull the wool over my eyes. Deanna, this isn't that type of live, my dear. Pause 1 second and I'll be able to address that. But yeah, it's like, that's that thing. It's like, don't, and maybe that's the phrase, right? Like, don't pull the wool over my eyes. Like, don't invite me to do something like what I do, disrespect me by like trying to act like you, like I now, because what it inherently does is people see me making public posts with this person, and then you, it's an unofficial endorsement that I didn't consent to. So you either, like, we have an actual, thank you, Echo. That's so funny. I love that. We either have like a spoken agreement, and everything else, you had me look at all these agreements and dotting the I's and crossing the T's. So like, fuck you for like now making it where like you want to change the rules. And at the initial upfront, right, like you made it seem like this was going to be one type of way, and you were very specific about also having a Scorpio stellium. So like, don't pretend like I don't actually know what's going on here, right? So it's like, that's the kind of thing that, especially I think as women in business, that there's like that shady side of it. And also like what a lot of people have been burned with in the spiritual community, like those of us that are still in the spiritual community on TikTok in varying degrees, there's now all these splintered offshoots, because you get these people that are like the coattail riders. Like there's so many different lenses of that like it just is, it's disrespectful. And frankly, like if you actually know anything about astrology as much as you say that you do, when you look at Pluto and Aquarius, like that shit isn't gonna fly. So like, welcome to your business burning. Like that, to me, it's just like, you fundamentally then are unaware of even what you say that you're good at. And like, so of course I'm not going to endorse you. Like, all right, goodbye, good block, go fuck yourself. Hi, Steph, how are you? You came in my very heated moment of conversation, my very heated soapbox moment. Thank you, Octavio. And I was gonna say too, if anyone wants a reading for me today, I do have my readings open, $15, 10 minutes at the link in my bio. So I do that. And I don't do, like just like yes or no, like how people know, like psychic mediumship too. I do human design readings as an intuitive human design reader, but I don't do like, yeah, I know, right? I don't do, like, will I be married to this person forever? Like, whatever that, I don't even know how to describe that kind of, like, drop the comments or whatever it is. Not out of, like, disrespect, but it's just not how I run my lives. Yeah, no, Steph, I was just talking about, how I was talking to Deanna. Deanna and I were DMing right before, I hopped on, and Deanna's one of my projectors that I know and love forever, and she has been doing astrology readings for people and basically saying like, drop your info and I'll like respond to like practice on you, or just to do a reading for you about like in a minute or less or what have you. So what had happened is somebody, which you guys will see, somebody had commented on one of her videos that there was like basically reading the person without their consent. And there's people like that love to use the excuse of like, where they posted it online for public consumption. It's like, yeah, but they didn't ask you, and like, no one knows you from Adam. So like, yeah, also Deanna for the 2 Deannas. Okay, there you go. Yes, my delightful expression and Astro Deanna. There we go. So it's like, basically I was saying like in our lens of work with what we do, Steph, right? It's like she immediately was like, oh, I don't like this. And I was like, that's okay. Like, it's okay not to like that, because A, it's disrespectful as fuck. And like, they didn't ask for you to read for them. That's why like ever since the beginning of my lives, I've been very strict with like the second that somebody starts to read for somebody else, no one fucking asked you. Like, is literally my internal thought, depending on the person, because like I'm not addressing a specific person now. They don't necessarily even know what they're doing. Clearly. Example A right now, right? So like they haven't even taken a second to like read the room. Like, we don't know what we're even talking about. So it's like, and for me, right, because I say my Scorpio is selling me in the 10th house, I make no apologies for that, where it's like, I don't know who you are. I haven't vetted you. Like, my business is my child. Like, don't come in here and think that you're gonna steal my baby. Like, that's literally what, you know, and anyone who's doing that is so fundamentally insecure that they operate from readings like this, right? So it's like, you can feel, And I feel it. I've had people that are like, I'm a human design alignment guide. And like they're here and they love to watch my lives. And some of them will be here the whole time. Less so, more so now, because it's like shifting the frequency without me even really having to say anything of like, yeah, you're really quick to watch everything that I'm doing, but giving no credit, absolutely none at all. And I'm like, if you even know the basics of astrology, like what Pluto and Aquarius moment in that transit makes you think that you can get away with that? Your business is going to crash and burn. I give it less than a year. So for me, it's like, I just don't like, it's that, we can't be afraid to call people out like that in the guise of like, but we're all supposed to be nice in a spiritual space. Like, okay, yeah, people pleasing 101. That's like the baby. I say that too, like the first year human design reader Brenna that was dealing with learning those kinds of boundaries and figuring out like, oh, I can be firm and I'm still nice because I'm being protective, right? But just because I'm firm doesn't mean that I'm not being nice. So it's like knowing the difference. Yeah, and you with the Chiron Cancer, 11th house. Yeah, no, and it's like and it's interesting, like even like respect is so big for me. Like come at me with respect, right? I lead with kindness for everybody and you could tell the way that somebody comments, like whether or not they are trying to sneak one by or they're just ignorant in the way that they even come off. And so in those situations, it's like if you immediately feel disrespected, it's like a fork in the road for you to say, okay, if you were somebody that was looking to for you specifically, Deanna, like grow in terms of content and get paid by the platform, then you can use that person for what they're also using you for. You want recognition? I'll give you recognition back, but we'll have a conversation about this in the comments because it benefits you as Deanna to get the engagement to then show that to getting a sponsorship by, BetterHelp is like the big one that sponsors people, I'll say, or like Seed Probiotic or something like that, right? So it's like, okay, if you want to play that game, I'll also see the strategy and play it back. But it's like, and you'll do it once. Trust me, I've done people like that before at the way beginning of me posting on social media, and they don't come back anyway because they know that you see them, right? So it's like, okay, like I don't want to be around people that like want to play that game. So for me, it's like the quality of my connections and meeting with people offline or off like these portals is more important than me keeping engagement in the comments with people who like just want to have like an argument. Like I don't know you enough to have you be a colleague of mine in that space, and anyone who wants to talk with me via DM usually just wants free readings from me anyway. I'll give you a free reading, but you can comment what your rising sign, energy type, or one word you want me to channel on for you in the comments below is, and I mean that on my post because that's the end of what I say in my post, and figuring out like that's my way that I do my things for free, and my content is just really good. I know that it's good. I know that I put effort in. So it's like if you're not even getting enough of what you want from my free content, then I know that you don't have the mental capacity genuinely to absorb what it is that I can give to you outside of that space. But it's like that, it's like you can either teach people to have that capacity or you can't. So I'm more concerned about the good people like yourselves that create that mutual respect that also have that for me too. Let me make sure that, yeah, I always say that I'm not a nice person. Yeah, exactly. My husband does that too. I'm a kind person with integrity and boundaries. Exactly. But like, it's a shame. Like Steph and I are both Pisces 2 days apart. And so for us, it's like, it fucking is annoying that the world is that way, but it's also naive to not realize, especially this is like so like Capricorn stellium transits, like talking, but it's like, I don't want the world to be that way, but I am not going to be blissfully like under my, Piscean, Delulu bubble, and not realize that like with the way that the world operates right now on January 10th, 2026, like I know that is what my strategy has to be for today, right? So it's like, do I have eternal optimism? My motivation is hope in human design. I'm always going to hope that it can get better in the future. But right now, that requires all of us to work together. And in comments like these, and thank you, Deanna, for letting us use us as your my springboard of something to respond to, because it's a good conversation. Hi, Jamie, welcome. That's where we see like, we have to want to work together, you know? So it's that kind of energy. Thank you, Steph. Yeah, Marie, I actually have a certificate in human design. I'm more interested in life coaching. Yeah, because I think like, especially as a reflector, right, you see all the different ways, and that human design is not going to be the answer for every person that you do life coaching with. So I think as a reflector, you see a much more expansive, nuanced world, and you're like, okay, I have this certification as a part of what I'm doing, but like you could get so many more certifications. Like if you think of as a reflector, like you sit in the center of the tribe, and you say like, okay, almost like I picture like having this really cozy, like beautiful Miss Honey, like Ree Matilda cottage, and you have people that come in that consult with you, and they say, okay, Marie, like, am I doing good? Like, thumbs up, like this works. And then you're like, yes, like I want you to practice following your human design today. Or I want you to practice like I started doing like a little like ask my angels prayer in the morning. I'll probably make more content about that, but like just like a whatever you want to call your meditative time. I want you to focus on maybe somebody who's more aligned with like a Buddhist philosophy. So like human design could be a piece of that, but maybe it's not all encompassing, right? So like just because you're a reflector, I think people sometimes make you feel like it's your 1%, so it's so much more restricted, when actually you come out like this and say like, oh, this is much more expansive. Hi, Julia. So, you know, it's kind of like welcome to the spiritual buffet is what I say for a lot of my Cancer risings and a lot of my reflectors too. Like, what can I give you today? Like, what are we serving? What's on the like farm to table menu, because this is what's in season. That's also like rolling with that is important too. Yeah, Deanna, absolutely. It's such an important conversation, and I think that like I've been thinking about it for a while, but I didn't have the right data to respond to. So thank you for letting me use your data. And it's because all of those micro moments that happen like that to all of us individually speak so much more so to the macro. And I think too, like another thing about, oh, are you really, Marie? There you go. Yes, I love that. I love that. And see, like, I think that even culturally, right? Like you can figure out like who are the people that are going to resonate with Vedic more, or like where are they in their spiritual journey. So like that makes you so much better in your business having longevity. Thank you, Julia, because you'll have the capacity to like pivot too. Hi, Paul, welcome. Yeah, when I thought of it, I immediately thought about you. I'm glad. That makes me so happy. Yes, hi, friend. Yes, it's like that. Okay, what is it that that person needs, and that makes me more flexible. What was I gonna say? Oh, hold on. Oh, in-person events. Hi, Chelsea. Do I have people in here that are looking to do or are interested in doing in-person events? Because I can go down that vein and talk about that as well. Because I've had my kissing a lot of frogs type of energy with a lot of places. I have an event coming up in Philly to do like this big yoga conference that like people from like all over the world are flying into, which is a lot of fun. I'm very excited to like, because I have a lot of Sagittarius energy with where my Scorpio lies in my Placidus chart. So I'm like, you know, my husband's Cuban, like always having like a lot of diversity in my life is always really fun for me, because it's like the novelty. I say being from New Jersey, I'm like the person that could get penne vodka and like a Roman Catholic mass all the time, but like give me something else that feels interesting. But with that being said, just to kind of riff off of that a little bit, because I'll just talk about it anyway, is vending in person. So the biggest thing that, especially if you're new and wanting to vend in person, or even like work with somebody online, you want to be really objectively observational of like how they have their shit set up. So like if I have somebody now, like being 10 years into doing this type of work, I very rarely, like 99.9% of the time, would ever be working with somebody who had their first, is having their first event. I worked in events in arts and music management in New York City before this. There's too much that like I can't not start to help people when I'm in a space. And if I'm being invited as the talent to go and do something, I don't want to have to be consulting the person that's running the show about like where tables should be going. That's what ended up happening the last event that I did in person. It was our first year doing something. And it was funny because even in these spiritual places and spaces where there are these people that own these like spiritual stores, they still don't use their spiritual practices in their day-to-day. So for example, it was raining and I didn't know that the parking lot for the front of this wellness event had like a ramp and you had to go around, and like it was pouring rain and there was like no easy way to get to the front door. There was no like what's it called? They didn't give us any time to go in ahead of time. It was like, even in the emails, I was asking questions that were essential for like what it takes to run a good business. By the time an event actually happens, when you're doing anything with events, with spiritual events, with music events, anything like that, it should pretty much already be completed. Like you should feel while the event is happening, you're like, okay, it's over. I'm already thinking a little bit about tomorrow and having my email draft set up. Like after I do readings for in-person events, I basically go into my inbox the next day and I have a draft that I put that's like, thank you so much so-and-so for, you know, getting a reading with me yesterday. Here's the, you know, we talked about this. I do record my readings in person, so I'll either airdrop it to that person at that time, or if it's like however it worked, if I email it to them, that's how they want it delivered instead of their phone, I'll do it that way. Cause it's just like, even for my wedding, like literally my wedding and my elopement in September, I got no email from the event coordinator or the elopement, literally just me and my husband, that was like, oh, we hope that you had such a nice time. That was because they knew they fucked up and they were like horrible with communication. That's another story for when I get all my photos and videos back, and we'll talk about that on the longer video that I promised you guys about like how I used astrology and human design to set up my wedding. You know, and the things that obviously me being a very type A person that I can't control because like I'm working with other people. But knowing what it is that you need out of an event or a venue is really important. And at the beginning, like there were a lot of people that I was like, okay, well, like I also have my Instagram at the time only has 500 people. So like if I only have 500 people that follow me and I'm looking to grow in my business, I'll pick my spots for like, okay, I'm also new. Let me use this event to give myself some data to respond to, and picking the times that you need. Oh, lo siento, I only, yo comprendo un poco. But what was I saying? This is what happens. I get distracted so easily if I look at the comments right away. I was talking about events. Oh, but knowing what you need out of events. So like for me, and when I walked into this last event, right, there was this whole big room where everyone is in the venue, and then I'm supposed to do readings for people, right? And in between the readings, they were also going to have speakers. And what ended up happening is that the room was large but too small, where like every time somebody went up to speak, throughout the entirety of the day, the whole room would get quiet. So I'm like, okay, so now because you didn't have, and they were trying to put me in a treatment room, the only one to be in a treatment room. So I'm like, nobody puts baby in a corner. You also asked me to pay $10 to be here. So it's like, why is everyone paying $10? And like you're trying to push somebody to go into the treatment room because you didn't confirm with people that their tables should only be a certain size so that everybody would fit, right? So like even those basic things, it's like being able to be your own advocate, and things that we don't even think about. Like I think about that now because like I've done so many events over time and worked on the back end of things. So it's like I would never ask somebody to be at my event when I was in arts and music management. I would never ask somebody to be a performer and then not already have a list of specs for them about like, what is, okay, you're a performer, you need an amp. So like, I know when I think through these things that like, you're gonna have the proper technological hookups that you need to perform. Or else like, I'm setting up for failure and I'm setting myself up for a shitty review about a shitty event that shouldn't have happened that way. So I'm gonna pause there because I just saw Stuff's reading coming through. But this speaks very well to a lot of good points. And I was going to make a podcast episode about it, but I am cross-streaming this to YouTube at the same time. So I can, if you guys want to listen back about any of the points that I made, it also is going to it lives there as well. Under my lives thing. Okay. I'm put it over as a... Okay. I'll bring up your chart so we can have it as a visual marker. And if anyone else wants to get a reading with me today, $15, 10 minutes, link is in the bio. You do get an email of a recording of your reading. Timestamp here for my beautiful fellow Pisces. It's so funny because I think about being Pisces and how we have, hi Sam, hello. Yes, I'm so excited. I'll see you this time next week. We'll be halfway through our session together. Me too. I'm so excited. I'm taking over a month off. Yeah, from my business, and feel like I just need a reminder of some stuff so I could get back into the swing of things. don't even the first thing that I'll say, because this is what also is like paralyzed me, yes, see you soon, has paralyzed me like at times where I was like, oh, like I was doing so fucking well, and like I don't want to take a break, but like literally we're forced into it because we're Pisces, so it's like we're in the flow, and then it's like until we reach a dam or the edge of the ocean or the shoreline, like that's when we'll stop, like really. And so these apps will make you feel like you have lost, you know, so much progress, hi wisdom, because you don't post every day. So like when it gets back into like the things that will fuel the like punishing you for resting, like don't get into like the technical aspect of it, right? Like I always say, hello, like these apps, right, like their whole functionality is for us to stay on them as long as possible, as much as possible. So, you know, and figuring out like, when I got married, for example, I knew, obviously, because there was a lot of planning that went into that. So for the month of September, all of the energy of the day, the human design ways you guys saw, I had written the outlines for, recorded, edited, and then was just posting them from my phone every day from Maine, where we eloped. And so nothing in September is actually filmed live. But I really had to practice, like, okay, dropping in, and if I just like immerse myself and visualize like what this energy looks like for this day, what's going to be relevant. So it proved to the wise that it does work. But I think that also could be like a discernment piece for you, Steph, to say like, okay, are there ways that I care to get a little bit ahead in this way so that doesn't happen again, right? That's just a discernment piece for like A or B, yes or no, black or white. Like, do I care enough, or can I, you know, when you hop back in, because honestly, a month, like I knew that you weren't on, but like your presence is so known that I would like, don't fear that people forgot about you. I certainly didn't. So it was like, it felt, what a month feels like now is what 2 weeks used to feel like to us growing up. So really it was only like 2 weeks, right? Which is like with the holidays, like no one really is gonna come down on you, and anyone who was somebody that wasn't aligned to have you in their life anyway, or vice versa. So that alone in and of itself, yeah, absolutely. You know, again, it's like you're gonna get like the slap on the wrist of like, why weren't you posting? Why were you talking to me? It's like a toxic ex, right? With the applications, like, why weren't you talking to me? Why didn't you say hi? You know, whatever. But I think that's like part of it. And then it comes down to the discernment of like, you know, for the beginning of this year, and I've been thinking about, like, I just want to know, and this is very much so where our north and south nodes are right now, because they're creating the channel of community. And I'm like, I want to know who's around me, like who's in my community, what are the pockets within the pockets of spaces that I really enjoy. There's a bunch of like micro towns around where I live in the Poconos where they'll have like one thrift store, one coffee shop, you know, maybe a hair salon, like there's like one of everything. So I'm like, okay, like I've kissed a couple frogs in this area. Where is it that I actually want to go? And so I think for us Pisces too, it's like we really love to be of service, and it's finding people where like the service is reciprocated, even if it's not like, and this is funny because I noticed this, and it's actually a really interesting undercurrent stuff for us as Pisces, is that there are some people that when we do a reading with them, instead of like writing us the testimonial, sharing what they learned from our session on social media, you know, commenting, you know, referrals, whatever it is, they like want to try to read us back. This also feels very channeled and kind of specific for you, and think that their reading of me is like what I consented to as reciprocity, where it's like, no, like you're my client. Like when I go to see my therapist, for example, right, like I don't go to see her and expect that like, okay, so next week we're gonna do you now, right? And so having those kinds of boundaries that are also within the spiritual community, there's always a time and a place for a barter. But I think that there's also going to be people who will try to push you into a barter when the reciprocity isn't actually there. Yeah. So also paying attention to that. Kind of moving forward into this year. I think having, and this is so big because I do business consulting, and I just onboarded a client on Monday, and we were talking about setting up like SOPs or standard operating procedures, and I was talking about this for another creator, Lauren of Divinely Magnetic, who got a reading with me on Thursday, and how really what are your standard operating procedures in your business from now until Saturn finally leaves the conjunction with our sun. It's like really, for me, like, because I've been going through, you know, Saturn is conjunct both our suns, but this is, there you go, Julia, yes. for me, it's also been my Saturn return. So I've experienced, and Saturn's always next to my sun because I have a Pisces Saturn and a Pisces sun. But what was I gonna say with that? Oh, like really understanding like what can be compartmentalized and what can go on autopilot for when shit like this does happen, when you have the loss of your child, you know, furry son, essentially. I always say a furry son, but not a son that's a furry, two very different things. With our pets, our loved ones, right? Like when you have like a loss like that and allowing yourself to really have the space to properly go through the experience of what it means to grieve and working with grief, it's also been a really big time to figure out like what are my SOPs, what are my standard operating procedures, so that like if I can't get to my office and I can see that, like for my dad, for example, like there's been a decline in my dad's health. He's doing, you know, pretty well, but my dad got diagnosed with a version of Parkinson's. It's like a neurological condition that is a lot like if you had like dementia and ALS connected. So I'm like, okay, like I feel it, you know, it's like interesting because Saturn's opposing his sun. He's a Virgo, blah, blah, blah. So what are the things that I know that I can rely on that I actually miss about a 9 to 5? Like some of the things that I, like people, we talk about what we couldn't wait to leave, but like as an entrepreneur, some of the things that we miss is that like I can't go into work and like phone in 2 weeks in front of my computer and still get paid, right? Like that I am Brenna working on Brenna Human Design. I'm not fully enmeshed with it. I see it as its own kind of entity, which is also very helpful. But like, you know, those moments where it's like, okay, this is, no matter what, it's going to be challenging. But when I look at the bigger picture of life, I know that 9 to 5 has its own challenges, and I know that entrepreneurship has its own challenges. Excuse me. So, burp of truth. Excuse me. It like happens to me so much when I'm reading, being a sacral authority. It's so funny. I'm interested to see if you notice that with clients now too. But yeah, I would just encourage you to really kind of have like, what are the things that you know that you can rely back on, or things in place? Like I mentioned earlier, like if you're kind of in a mode where you know that there's certain things that you kind of want to get ahead of, or know that like whatever you're hosting or whatever you want your client experience to be can be refined by having certain things like drafts of emails that you send. You know, I'm a human design reader, astrologer, psychic medium. I only have 5 questions that people ask me regularly that like bog down my inbox. So it's kind of like, okay. And even then it's like people know that I hate email, so they don't email me. But those kinds of things. Yeah, I was going to say too, like I would really think about Steph and then think of Steph who has Steph self-awareness coach. And it will create, it's such a helpful mental tool to say, yeah, like, and you kind of, because you look at it as like, it's like one of the 4 agreements, right? It's like you take nothing personally, even if it is. So it's like when somebody says something about my business, right? Or like the way that I do business, it's like, okay, this is either something that I have to objectively look at and improve. Just because it was me that did it and they didn't like the process of it doesn't mean that they inherently don't like me, right? So like what is, like I think the biggest word that people omit that applies is hospitality. Like what's the, and listen, like there are people, like when I'm on live, what I love about it is like, oh, you want to speak to the manager? Okay, let me just turn back around. I'm right here. So if I want to tell somebody to fuck off because they're being annoying in my comments, like I'm HR, I'm, you know, the CEO, I'm everything here. So it's like, for me, that like works, but rarely do I have to do that, or rarely is there somebody that's that rude in my space where that has to be my response. So I think like remembering that like, oh yeah, like I did this because it's supposed to be fun, right? Also being married, like you have a huge opportunity, like married and with your fur babies, to like, you get to do anything. Like you get to do anything. And that's like, oh, I just had chills. Like that should be like an exciting place to be, not like fucking I do everything. Like, oh God. Like it's like, okay, so I get to do everything. Now, what is it that makes sense based on how I can be of service, right? And what is the business entity that is Steph self-awareness coach? What is it? And I think like the blessing is that there are a lot of people who aren't self-aware right now. How can you be a disruptor? Yeah, that like looks at life and says like, okay, people who aren't self-aware, what is the vocabulary that they need to hear to give them what they want, or get, you know, speak to them and that acknowledges what they want, but I actually am giving them what they truly need. And that is an interesting slope, because I know like when you and I were doing the chat about that one client that you had, you can get people like that, right? Who it's like, so sometimes generationally speaking, like there's people who, we like progress, right? So there's some people who they need people to consult over and over again. And I think that it's kind of looking at it as through the lens of like, what is this person expecting out of me, and do I want to maintain this relationship with them? That's why I always built into, and you have the 4 line. Yeah. I think that there's even some work, especially because we both have the same incarnation cross, like our goal is to bring people to awareness, but whether or not we see them through, like I'll be the fairy woman, but once you step off that boat, right? Once you step off my boat, you got to figure out what you need on the other side, right? But it's like, I'm a piece of your puzzle, but I won't let myself feel, because as Pisces we see it all, right? Or feel it all. I won't let myself feel the weight of the responsibility that you are or are not holding as a client of mine. Hi Sydney. I won't let myself feel like I have to hold all of that weight for you. And I used to feel, because of also how I was raised, there's a lot I could say, but like I also used to feel like I had to hold the whole responsible weight and like have like every session has to be this like crazy proclamation. And I said this to Gabe the other day about like knowing what your client, like you know so much already, be confident in that, and then sit and really look at this person objectively and kind of do a little bit of a aura cleanse or whatever and say like, what is this person? I know what I came here to do today. What does this person really want from me right now? And how do we meet in the middle? What does that kind of middle ground look like for us? So also helpful to kind of consider. Oh, let me see. Yeah, I was just exploring that today with my 11th house and who my aligned audience and clients are. I love that. Don't want to do their own work and make their own, yeah, exactly, and make their own shifts. I love that. Great reminder that I don't get lit up working for people who just want to be saved, but don't want to do their own work and make their own shifts. Absolutely. It's like people who I attract a lot of Leo dominant placements, but I don't do well with Leos who lack self-confidence or are insecure in some way. Because I'm complementary to them as an Aquarius rising, but it's like, I like to have you, but I don't need anybody. I am a 1-3. I could stare at the wall all day long and entertain myself in my own thoughts, right? Like, I love being alone. My husband being an Aquarius, he loves being alone. So it's like, for us, it works out really well because there's not that codependency. And I think, and this is, 2 things I'm going to give you homework on too that has really helped. Read the book, or get an excerpt of we talk about this too. Adult children of emotionally immature parents, and there's a section that's all about identifying emotionally mature people. Oh, hold on, there was something else I was gonna say. Give me a second to do reminder finger. That was part of the homework, but who are people that are trying to play out their motherly relationship wounds with you versus giving them what they actually need. A lot of women that I work with that have mommy issues are fundamentally unaware. They lack the self-awareness, to use your vocabulary words, to understand that, even because my moon is in the 10th house, right? So I give Cancer rising energy to a lot of people without being a Cancer rising. So like they're like, but I feel so warm in your presence, and I'm like, no, but I'm still an Aquarius rising, an Aquarius stellium, and a Pisces. So I'm warm, but like I don't need to talk to you to feel fulfilled. Like, right? So it's like, it's harsh, but it's like, I'm doing you a disservice if I'm phoning in, because I'm not actually your mom, right? What you have to deal with, and I think that this is so potent and thanks for letting me go over with you as the springboard, because it helps for the crowd for us to talk about this. Yes, I know. So it's like, they see mommy, right? They're like, mommy, help me. And so I think that reading that book will help you get a perspective on the types of people that are attracted to working with you. And then hi Nicole. And then you can also look at it from the lens of, okay, there is grief around, like in my experience, right? Like I don't have a relationship with my mom. My mom wasn't at our wedding. After our wedding, my mom sent me a message because my parents are moving and was like, I didn't acknowledge your wedding at all, but like, do you want these things from the house because we're moving? I get I don't answer, a text a week later, thanks for abandoning, like just like the whole rigmarole. And so, for looking at that, I also see like where I have people where the universe tries to test me of giving me clients like that. And I'm like, yeah, I've been there, done that. When we think about 10th house and 4th house, as above, so below. 4th house is home, our mom, our femininity, and how that reflects the interplay of me having a Scorpio stellium, right? Like there's data there. And so when I look at that, I'm like, okay, I see that what people see in me, including my mom, and a lot of feminine, like female relationships, female friendships that I've had in the past and grown out of or had to reconsider, is that like they see this like dynamic, especially for you as a Cancer rising, of like this, I don't want to be their mommy, but yes, exactly. They have grief. They're mourning the loss of somebody that either has died or somebody that's still alive, that they're not getting their needs, their fundamental biological human needs met from, right, in that way. And so part of the healing is figuring out not how they can find somebody, hi Mo, that replaces their mom in somebody like you who is a Cancer rising, like mommy penultimate energy that they see, right? Their first initial response is, Steph, mommy me. And so, yes, Deanna, there you go. I know, it's, listen, you see, you're like, I literally have a toddler. Like, I literally have family. So, or like that I have to take care of. So, long story short, right? It's like you see that, and I think it's acknowledging that, like, I would love to see from you too, Steph, like content after you marinate on this, if you feel called to, about like how to, like almost like a, what do you have to do to deal with your mommy issues before you meet with me? Like, what do we have to have sorted out, like, in your mommy relationship? And you know, you are good with content. I trust your judgment. Like, whatever you need to do to kind of like write that narrative out and say like, okay, or it's data for you to have like a mother wound healing workshop, right? Like that can also be, since Mo, it's perfect timing that you're here right now too, because I think of your book, but like that kind of writing it out is like the best way that I can say that. It's like, how can you say, oh, I've caught this, now I know what this is, how can I compartmentalize that and say, okay, like I want to work with the people who have already done this with somebody. Now what's the next layer after they work through being aware of their needs, right? Because it's like, I think about, I had somebody that booked a reading with me and their handle was Crash Out Queen. And I was like, I would not want to be known as somebody who's the crash, like our words have power, right? So it's like, I don't want, like if you are wondering why your life is dysfunctional, why are you calling yourself the Crash Out Queen, right? Like why is that not, this is a Virgo too. Like why are those words not connecting the dots? So it's like, you're 30, it's not cute to crash out anymore. When you were 2 and you were a toddler, it wasn't even cute then, but we dealt with it because you were 2, right? So it's like that, like, I think that self-awareness coach, it's like, okay, but what level of self-awareness are we talking about? Yeah, I honestly think that should be a mandatory reading for anyone between the ages of 30 and 50. I agree with you, Nicole. Hello. I agree with you. No, it's so real. But yeah, maybe it's like, because we can all, I mean, I'm like I always want to be like in different levels of my life, right? Like perpetually, as I morph, be aware, like become more self-aware and different, yeah, of course, different levels of me are going to require different levels of self-awareness, right? So who are the people, like what level of self-awareness work have people already done? Oh, I love that. Yes, Deanna. Or yes. I almost said delightful. I was like reading delightful and Deanna at the same time. Both equally true. But yeah, I think like redefining like what does the level, like maybe it's like lacking spiritual awareness or something like that. But I think like, I know that at least for me, because of us Pisces and how much we're shifting, like I've evolved, so my clientele is going to evolve too. And I'm okay if that means that I lose some people along the way, because it's like, I'm not, you know, it's like when people come in here and I had somebody that was like, oh my gosh, I'm so glad that I found you. Like, I'm excited to reach out to you after and, you know, like talk about human design. And I was like, yeah. And she started to drop her birth date, time, and location in the comments. I was like, oh, I don't do free readings. And then she was like, oh, like, wait. And so I was like, oh, you think that after this reading, like, you're going to DM me your birth time, we're just going to talk about human design, like we're besties because we're having a good time. And I'm like, I do that in the confines of a live, in the confines of a reading, because I have people that respect my boundaries and the work that I've done. So it's like, immediately unfollowed me. I was just like, that, I'm sorry you didn't meet me 10 years ago when I was doing my free shit, but like, you can find plenty of people that are just starting out that meet your needs where you're at, but don't overinflate your self-importance because your ego can't handle understanding that you lack self-awareness in this area. I will teach you that because it's not fair to take advantage of me because you don't want to understand what the rules are here. I'm on the book restrictions. Yes. Read 3 books to buy a new one. I love that. I need that too. I need that too. But yeah, boundaries. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I think it's important. I think that we're just like we all get to different points in our lives where we get sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's a big area where we don't in my my minor is actually in gender studies in modern art and abstract expressionism, and so I look at it through the lens of like that's a way that like ingrained patriarchy is woven within women who see other women as doing free emotional labor for them via talking. And I'm like, I'll talk to you, but we also have to remember that like we're still the guinea pigs that are figuring out how to use technology. So like, yes, you found me via the internet, but like you still don't obviously exist like you would if you were happened to be my neighbor, and like biologically or geographically rather, biologically too in some ways, but geographically, like we're not close. Like there's no like it's okay to have barriers to entry, and that's something that I didn't learn until really after my nodal reversal and my Saturn return, and even still have refined it. Flare-ups every now and then, but like it's like that person is so far to grow in order to like really have like I always say, like whenever I'm doing some sort of like business admin conversation, I was just saying this to a business strategist the other day, like I need that like cerebral intellectual stimulation, and so I need people who are like, okay, let's think about the strategy of this, not somebody that just wants to listen. Because as far as I'm concerned, if you just want to listen about what your human design and your astrology is, we could do that here in 10 minutes, or you could read a book or like watch my playlist. But like if you're talking to me and like spending time with me, I don't want to talk about what's happening in your relationship and why like this thing isn't working out with somebody who clearly doesn't want, like that to me for like an hour of my time isn't interesting to me. It's like, let's create a strategy for how you want to actually get out of it. But like strategy has been a big word for me going into 2026. So yeah, 4 years ago. Yeah, and it takes practice because it's like, listen, like I think as Pisces women, like people see that service resonance in us, you know, and Cancer women, like it's just like that motherly, in your case is a Cancer rising, but my Leo placements too, like there's that that frequency of service, but unfortunately that frequency of service exists on the earth plane, where right now in 2026 we all still have bills to pay, and we all still have you know, so whether it's like, I love when people go back to like, well, I don't believe that you should charge for these services. Great, you can do them and you don't have to, but this is what I choose to do because I know it's right for me and my business. So your belief about what spiritual practitioners should do is not my problem, because all the clients that pay me for my services, that pay me for consulting, that pay for me to go to different events, believe in what I do and respect that. But your belief means nothing to me, because you don't even believe in yourself is really what that says at that point. That's somebody who like always, if you go back, I've never met a person or looked at a person after they said something to me like that on social media. They usually are people who are trying to build their own thing, but don't believe in themselves enough to get paid to do it. Or they're struggling and they're like really pretentious, and then like they don't realize that that's why people are being pushed away. Because like I don't want to, it's very different to get paid to do something that you're naturally born to do and have confidence in that, and get paid, and versus expecting people to pay you out of arrogance that everyone else should fund your existence. Like that's a very different frequency that people know, like, you know, we can tell that through the phone. Yeah, and then those sessions feel performative to me. Exactly. And listen, those one-off sessions will still happen. Someone could present themselves really well. I had that happen with the mentorship client I was mentioning a year or two ago. The last 2 years like have blended together so much, and I'm like, I have to know it was a year ago or 2 years ago. But essentially it was like came in, you know, wanting to really be gung-ho and like do like human design and figure it out. And then I was like, oh, you know, why the fuck are you, you know, you paid me thousands of dollars to sit here to answer my call from Central Park after you just ran out of the hair salon. To some people, they're like, I love that my client is like Carrie Bradshaw. I'm like, go fuck yourself. Like that, like not like you, like this isn't like I'm your spiritual life coach that you just check in with during this mentorship session. You know, like that's not what that is for. So I'm like, there are people that will do that for you, but that's not who I am. Like, have more respect for me. That I was just like, ew. Like, and this is like a lady, like there's so much I could say, but I'm gonna get myself heated about it. But yeah, that's my Scorpio stellium is like, if I think in it for too long, I can't, but I'll use it as an example. Let that be known. But yeah, I think that we just need a little bit of better, like, our industry has no like regulatory field, right? Like a lot of other places do. So it's like the regulatory department is like our intuition, right? And which is strong enough and valid enough in and of itself, but in the eyes of the law, there's no legal background for that kind of thing. Like if somebody works in regulatory in the hospital and someone, it's like Nurse Jackie style dispensing or stealing, medicine, that's a very different legal stipulation than we have. So it's like, how do we build those boundaries in? I call that energy out. Yes. And I always ask where else in their life they let chaos take them out. Oh yeah. Or where they let it distract them so they never have to truly risk it. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And it's like honestly, it's a lot of, what it really does, like, even though my knee-jerk reaction is angry, and I'm sure you can relate to this as a Pisces too, because we're piranhas and sharks, but we're also goldfish, and you can see us as both, right? But it's disappointing. Like, it's fundamentally exhausting to, like, because it comes back down to, like, oh, like, we're still working on self-worth, aren't we? And, there's always going to be percentages of that, but, like, you don't even realize that, like, we're not even capable of having this kind of strategy call if you haven't worked out on your, hi Cassandra, you haven't worked out your self-worth. And I'm like, oh, I'm not, and I'm talking to somebody in that example who is 10 to 15 years older than I am with 2 teenage daughters. And I'm like, ooh, that's a little terrifying. I think that's why I took such a step back. There's so many people who feel entitled, absolutely, but they don't appreciate. And it sucks. Like, Mo, it literally, like, listen, as a Aquarius rising Saturn ruled person, it's like your age is what restricts that right now. So it's like your peers are, like, lacking a lot of self-awareness as well. And it's like, oh, like, and then you have people who are older than you that the first excuse for them not to pay you is, like, your age, right? Or, like, how old are you? Or, like, they are asking certain questions. When did you graduate college is another backhanded way to ask, like, when or how old you are. Like, when did you, like, so, yeah, it's those kinds of things. Yeah. Oh, I know it all. The Scorpio stellium in me is like, okay, check. I know what's happening. Like the semantics of conversation. So, yeah. He has a manifestor. Yes, the internal anger for sure. Absolutely. Yeah, thanks for giving me combos. Gave me some great ideas and things. So I'm so glad. I'm happy to help. I'll be on for another hour or so. So if anyone else wants to book a 10-minute reading with me, 15 minutes, you get a recording. Link is in my bio to do that. If not, I'll answer some questions in the interim. But I don't drop your birthday, time, and location. I don't think anyone has made it this far. I think that's been explicitly clear. But this isn't like free reading in the chat. I'm not a newbie. But yeah, I think that, like, the marination period of the hermiting of the winter is also really important before we hit, like, it's almost like the Lunar New Year's, like the first hump of, like, okay, we're halfway through the first quarter, year of the horse. And then once we hit the spring equinox and it's actually, like, a little bit more robust and flowery in spring, that it actually feels like we can make some more momentum going forward. But yeah, the age thing really got to me though, Mo, too. Like, when I was in my early 20s, and it was like, because I wasn't like meatpacking bimbo chic that, like, the arts PR area expected of me. Like, that was its own, like, and I'm talking about, like, 2012 or 2014. I was interning in the meatpacking district at an arts PR company for free before that big Vogue expose came out about, like, how so much of the fashion industry is built on the backs of free labor. I was a free labor, and I was like, oh, but it's cool. And I'm like, that, I got some lore out of it. I got to go into meatpacking and wear, my Century 21 dresses that were, like, Marc Jacobs marked down 90%. Like, that was my like, living that life, which, like, I wanted to do that, to a certain extent. But yeah, the city holds its own frequency with that. I actually, and I haven't said this actually ever, but a big reason that I actually left the arts industry was because around COVID, I was working on a show, and I got asked to do an interview at this gallery called Black Wall Street, and one of the gallery directors there, who is from London, that was working on, like she had like a work visa. It wasn't getting renewed, and she was calling it out because the next show that I was about to do, after I had just done a show as like the curator and the artist manager for Holly Taylor, who is an actress that's in the show Manifest on Netflix. It was her first like oil painting show, and I did her show. And as I was working on the next one, I found out that the guy who was the artist was thank you bunches, was a part of a bartending circle that was enhancing beverages at the bar. And I was like, yeah, I'm not touching that with the 10-foot pole. And there were other people, like, you know, the person in like the vigilante, like I want to do it justice, like in me was like, at least I know the other people who are much more involved, lived in the city, have the capacity to deal with this. Right as this is happening, I had my mom with me for a week because she was in the hospital because she had a leg infection. Like, it was like all this shit. I was like, yeah, I don't have capacity, but I was like, I don't want to be in this field that pretends to be something that it's not anymore. And I was doing human design the whole, like, simultaneously the whole time. And I was like, yeah, this is like my moment of like, I can't fake that. Like, I know what I have to do to make a lot of money doing this. And I sold, you know, $10,000 paintings, $7,000 paintings, $250 paintings. But I was like, I don't want to be a part of what I know that I have to do to like be financially successful, right? But it's not actually internally successful. So like, I don't want to get into the legal battle of what this is. So that was a big, no, I'm actually just ending my Saturn return in April. This was my, at the end of my nodal opposition. So like 27, 28. So because I was still kind of like in the arts industry as I was starting like on TikTok and posting here. But it was like the real nail in the coffin. It was like, oh, I'm definitely not going back here at all. I'm definitely not going back here at all. So that was like, yeah. As a projector, I can't thrive without the proper invitations. No, it's so real. And started messing with how I viewed myself. Yeah, because you're like, how many times can people not ignore you and not acknowledge your presence or like what you're... I'll have to look at the dates, Cassandra, because now I could go back and look at the DMs from that person because they were like freaking out as to like why I just like called off the show last minute. And I'm an Aquarius, Mars, and my ascendant. The second I like hit that wall, I'm like, you never met me. I don't know who you are. We're never talking again. And that like, I don't like that it fucks with people, but it's like I'm aware of like the ghosting effect that can have on people. So I never do it with people who I don't like. There's people who deserve an explanation as to why I'm doing this, but there's people who don't. And they were definitely one of them who didn't. Right. So I'm like, and then what was so crazy is that this is how everything's connected, right? When I was like 23, 24, I was working as an admin assistant and I made a page on Fiverr because I was doing like community management on this platform called Mighty Networks. And I got a message from this woman that owned this company. And this is where like, you know, when it's never your path, you'll find the people that you were meant to help along the way. And the woman that worked for this company, ended up getting pregnant, and she worked for a company that was talking about the Plan C pill. I'll like let you look up what that is. But essentially it didn't work. And we were in the middle of doing a campaign for her community with promotion of this alternative contraceptive, or like whatever the proper term was. And I basically was there as like, yeah, I was doing community management, but I was really there because like Scorpio stellium, like handling the heavy shit. Like it's like I was hired and paid to do one thing, but it really ended up being that as like just somebody to like walk her through that. And it turned out that she ended up having a child later, and we lost touch kind of after that. And fast forward that he was or is the gallery owner of that gallery I was just mentioning. And it was a different gallery that I was like doing the actual curatorial work for, but it was like that guy was her baby daddy. So it was like such a weird, like, and she lived like kind of deep in Brooklyn, and this is like down in Chelsea. So it was like, the world is very big as it is small. And I was like, this is my cue. Like we've done too much work here. Like I'm out. So it was really interesting, like just how to, and also like a lot of men that I tend to work with a lot of male artists too, are just like men in the industry. They don't want like actual women that are working with them, they want like a harem, and they want like women that just make them look good and are like the backbone of the business without giving any credit. And I was just like, yeah, I'm not doing that. I know it was such a small world. It was so crazy. I was just like, yeah, and then that's my cue. I'm out. I find it interesting. I'm going to have a nodal return. Yes, South Node in Leo and Jupiter moving into Leo. Oh, wow. Oh my gosh. I mean, I think that that'll be a perfect opportunity like this today. Deanna, with how you kicked us off and what we were talking about, this is a great way to kind of highlight the importance of that, and like anything that's cleared out from like a residual, like literally people that are trying to disrespect you by dulling your shine from your past life, right? Jupiter, it's like it's an illuminator and an amplifier. Your South Node is like karmically, what did you bring in from the last lifetime, or the things that are just like, it's almost like an anchor, and it can be a good anchor that grounds you if you have an awareness of it, or a bad anchor. Like my South Node in Taurus is like, I have a Taurus 4th house, right? So it's in my 4th house, is very Venusian, but I know that like with certain feminine energies, like I have to call, like I'm interested in strong women. Like I'm not the type of like it because of like people who look at the spiritual community as kind of like a hive mind, if you will, like how people perceive it from the outside that want to like come in and get assistance. They see it as like working on that wound. So full circle, kind of what we talked about today. Peace. Yes. Yeah, I would say like really looking at that is like, okay, what have I dealt with up until this point that I dealt with in a past life that no longer, and really, oh my gosh, I was talking about this with another astrologer, 2 other astrologers actually, and looking at anybody that makes a conjunction to your South Node with their personal planets. The rising sign can count, right? But really looking at your South Node or their South Node and understanding like what is it that they are actually doing with you, because that's like a karmically like, and if you're very self-aware, right, that can be, you can be aware of that. Oh my god, you're so annoying. You're not even spelling it correctly. There you go. I'll just mute him so I can get the view without him being able to talk. But basically, right, when we're looking at that, it's like looking at like anyone that has like personal placements conjunct like that's in Taurus for me, like Taurus suns or Taurus moons. I really look at the rest of their chart for synastry as like what is kind of going on there, or why are they so like, it's like they're the ones that initially, a lot of like personal Taurus placements find me very alluring or very off-putting, and there's no in between. They like don't know either why they love me so much or why they don't like me at all. Or like they can't like infiltrate, you know, and a lot of like for me, South Node is my only Taurus placement, right? So it's like I just don't really have that in my personal energy, where it's like Taurus North Nodes, for example, like a lot of them, you guys are meant to keep things lighter, right? Or like keep things like a little bit more fresh, but like, cause in your other lives, like things were really heavy. For me, things are probably lighter. I probably got away with a lot of stuff in a past life, right? But it's like now it's like alchemizing the heaviness of rewriting a lot of like, okay, we have to reap the rewards. Yeah, exactly. And I would say anyone who has like, if it's not a very self-aware person, right? Like that doesn't know these things, or they know these things, but they don't lead with them. It's like, that's data in and of itself. So it's like, okay, what am I looking at where it's people that have a lot of Scorpio conjunct my North Node? So for you and I, right? It's like my Scorpio stellium being conjunct your South Node. If I use that in our relationship, oh wow, there you go. If I use that in our relationship, like Steph and I both have the same life purpose as Joel Osteen, right? I could really easily make it into that, like, okay, Deanna, like, we just watched, my husband and I, the Knives Out, hi Nini, the Knives Out, movie, and like in it was like this guy that had this church, and he was like getting this person to like donate thousands of dollars to that person and saying, I see everything you want to see, and I'll heal you and you can walk again, right? So it's like there's an awareness of like we all have this potential to use our powers for good and evil, and knowing like what wolf do you want to feed, right? I know. So it's like I have the magnetism that if I wanted a mega church, I could have one. Happy Saturday. But I don't want a mega church. I don't want people to believe in something that they don't actually believe in. And ultimately what they need to believe in is themselves. So it's like, it's so interesting to see like, who are people that have the same placements as you, but you don't actually like them? Because you know, right? Especially like using the example of the guy, that like having another projector, hola, doing something that isn't projectorly, right? Or like it just doesn't, like if the math is not mathing, it isn't hitting. That's where you have to figure that out. The wolf lesson story. Is that like, what wolf do you feed? Yes. Well, because it's so helpful. It's like, both wolves exist, but what wolf makes more sense, right? And picking, like, there's people who deserve, like, the asshole Brenna wolf that, like, because that's just what they're getting from me. If you're coming at me a certain way and I can see it because I've dealt with it before, I'm not going to try to convince you that I'm a kind person, right? I had someone come in here on Thursday. Thank you, Fee. I had someone that came in here on Thursday. Oh, reflector. I love that. Yes. I'm a Pisces. So those are Pisces, Sun, Aquarius, Rising, Scorpio, Moon, 1-3 sacral manifesting generator. There's my what is it? Resume. But I had that guy that came in, and as I was reading for Chelsea and doing that composite, like looking at the synastry composite chart, it's called in Human Design, where you like overlay them or whatever. And I said something like how like certain men, she was asking me about a situationship, and she was asking about like how certain, like, or something, I forget what what it was, but I was like saying, oh, I love that. Yes. Oh, there we go. So we're two variations of the same person. I love an Aries. All reflectors that I know have very prominent, if not big 3 Aries placements. It's like new soul energy. So there you go. Oh, yes, exactly. We have so much synastry. I love that. So you're a 12th house. Oh, reflector, 12th house sun. I feel that for you. Hi, yo. Oh my gosh, hold on. Sorry. Oh, but that guy came in and he was like in the middle of me giving a reading, was like, oh, but women can be like that too. And I literally like looked at the comment and I was like, yeah, because I expect people to have actual nuance and understanding that when I'm doing a specific reading for somebody, that I'm obviously not talking about all men. But you want to believe that the reason that women don't like you is because that we're making generalizations when you're just actually fucking annoying. So that also applies, Deanna. No, I know you are. I do that all the time. Like the ADD manifesting generatorness too is like, I'm like, ooh, shiny object. Yeah. Just like, it was his problem. Here I have my furry son. Hello, Ben, you gonna join us? Make sure I don't burn my sweater. I have my little dual monitor. But yeah. And I have a completely open ajna too. I have no gates there. So I'm like, wow, what's this? Yeah, exactly. Even though I'm very black cat. Like I have my Scorpio stellium's in the 10th house in whole sign, 9th house in Placidus. But yeah, you can't make it up. On live I am, because I reserve my time. Like I'm like, okay, I don't want to talk to anybody until I actually have to talk to people. Oh yeah, mine's defined, so I'm like clicking in a little puzzle piece in that way. I do co-working sessions on YouTube, so I'm dual streaming at the same time because I after I get off live, I send an email of all of the recordings to anyone who booked with me. And because I have that, I do co-working sessions from like 1 to 3 Eastern Standard Time on YouTube Live, so people, I can pour out from my overflow if you need to get something done. So I always mention that to my undefined people. Yeah, oh, 1000%. Well, because people don't like to feel exposed. So it's like when you see right through, like people benefit from being manipulative, right? So it's like, especially with the way, I mean, how many times can we see that played out on the world stage? This is my little Leo, if you couldn't tell. You're gonna get warm and cozy. There you go. But yeah. There's something else I was gonna say. Thank you, y'all. Yeah, and with the mirror, they see themselves and they're just arguing. Exactly. Totally, yes. Yeah, that word is a hot one for me right now. I love that. Love the co-working session. Yeah, I've noticed I do it with my sister and get so much done. Oh, I love that. Thank you for saying that. That makes me so happy. I love that you enjoy it together too. Oh, yeah, bunches. I was going to tell you I love the new email follow-up for readings. That was nice. Oh, I'm so happy. Yes. Well, I feel like, because what, you know, again, like me looking at like, thank you, very like, I want a way to stay in touch with my people. Hi, Leticia. To stay in touch with my people. And like, it's how do I make it really easy for you to find a way to stay connected to me that isn't reliant on an app, right? So it's like when we talk about strategy in general, it's like I don't know anyone that's here right now. I don't actually have like, we're hours away from each other, right? Like it takes me 30 minutes just to get out of my immediate neighborhood because I'm in the mountains. But you know, I'm like, where, because of last year, if this goes down, what's happening? Yeah. Really? Oh my God, it's still V. Oh my gosh. I'm wondering if it's somebody that I've seen or have blocked. But yeah, cause it's like, I mean, thinking of your energy, right? Pisces sun, Scorpio moon, obviously I know it very well. Aries rising, it's like, here I am, we feel it, what's happening? Like, are we going to talk about it or no? Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. I don't have her blocked, but she followed me and I removed her as a follower, if that tells you anything. Hi Gilbert. It's, and I've noticed for a while, like, I don't know, hi Gabe, I don't know what's going on with her, but I can tell that it for a while now, it's been something outside of whatever this is, right? Like I didn't want, and to be honest with you, I don't want to be, it like, she doesn't have a lifestyle that I find admirable for me, right? Like I don't, there's no, and I don't see enough, I'm not inspired enough for that person to be a colleague to me. Yeah. And I think like, there's like a double-edged sword, right? Because what I was talking about earlier, which like knowing your placements, like I know it wasn't this way, but it's like in the amoeba, exactly, in the amoeba of like how we started this live was like people, like if somebody hasn't consented to you, like when I'm doing a reading for somebody, like that person has only paid and consented for me to look into their chart. So even if the chart is up on the screen, like it's rude to come in and like start reading for somebody. Now, you know, if this person was like, you're gonna die in 7 days, like they're like telling this person like all horrible things, we're like, okay, like that's not how that is supposed, like that's not, let's not like create like something horrifically like incorrect and like it's just to like, you know, like cosplay reader or something like that. But yeah, exactly. And that's where like don't be worried about people. Like for me, it's like I notice it, but I just can see, I don't, like there's no one here for me personally that I found within the same realm, exactly, that like felt good. And I think like it, to me, when I see somebody that has to be right so much on a live like that, teaching human design in that way, it's like you're trying to hold on to something that is not working out anymore. And I think it's like, I can see somebody who has a really big platform. It worked really well in COVID, during COVID, but like it's clearly not what you're meant to do. And that takes like, I think there's like for a projector that's still gonna move through things, right? It's very hard to like know that you work so hard for something and then be like, oh fuck, like now I have to do this all over again. And like it's like the fear of the exhaustion versus the acknowledgement. Yeah, no, I understand that. Well, because you're like, okay, like we said it, we could get it out. Like Teflon. Oh, I don't understand. Wait, I was explaining to her that our aura is not exactly like Teflon. Wait, hold on. And gave her proof. Oh, we're not completely impenetrable. What? Yeah, I don't know what. Because that's just kind of like a fundamental. I didn't know that. Like, yeah, I'm like confused as to like what the confusion was, which I think is also just very like spiritually indicative of what was happening over there. I'm like, I don't know, bro, like you're confused, I'm confused, like what are we even talking, why are we even fighting? And it's just like it's a fact or it's not a fact, like but that's where like you thinking of the internet, like I always say we have to think of the internet as Times Square, right? So it's like I can get off at Times Square and I can go to a symposium on the Upper East Side, you know, like I take my train and I go to the subway and I'm like talking like a couple symposiums at like the New York, what is it, NYU's like fine arts, whatever. So they like people that present their research, or like you get someone in TikTok live that's like, okay, I need to make some fast cash because like I am broke and like I need to turn my electricity back on. And like it's really easy for people to just pick up a packet of tarot cards from their local Botanica or, you know, place like that. And yeah, I think a lot of people are coming out of the COVID yes, absolutely, absolutely. It's interesting, like how the spiritual space, I think, was the one that was most affected. I had a couple people, a person who, like, you know, as soon as I didn't give her what she wanted, also in the space, was like very quick to like try to slander me in her weird way, like gloopy way is the best way I could describe it. But she was like, I wish that you were here on spiritual TikTok in 2021. I'm like, that's nice of you, but I'm glad that I wasn't. Like, I don't think I would have I would have been arguing with people on the internet all day long, and that's not how I like to use the internet. I'm much more interested in having more intellectual conversations with folks like yourself. If I wanted to go into a place where I'm arguing all day, I would just be a lawyer. Like, I would get to do something else like that, or public defender, whatever. Yeah, trans. Yes, I know. But which is also, like, I mean, even with the typo, there's like a lot of layers to that too. But yeah, it's interesting how, like, with the spiritual space, how we're gonna see a lot of, like, and that's why I was said full circle. It was so, like, perfect that you came into this live today, V, and that we met. But that, the resurgence of, like, if anyone knows what Pluto and Aquarius is actually going to do, right? Like, this is where we're trying to have, like, more authenticity. But, like, you can't have more authenticity without, like, constructive conversation. And I think that's like one of the things that's like one of the real benefits, honestly, of me going to college. Like, if I didn't go to college, I didn't know how to, before that, like, actually have somebody with an opposing opinion, like, have a dialogue, like, just because of, like, I mean, Scorpio moon, like, in different ways you probably know or don't, I don't, you know, with your nature versus nurture of your experiences, but, like, everything was just always an argument and not really a conversation. And I think that's where we see, like, yeah, like, finding the balance of that. And also, like, just disrespectful to you as a reflector too, to not, like, but I always say, it's so funny because a couple of you gave, and a few of you that have been here for a while. Yeah, exactly. Absolutely. But what was I gonna say? Oh, I have called me the reflector collector because there's an Aquarius rising. I'm like, let me collect all of the underdogs, and not even like it just for nomenclature, for alliteration, but like connecting with the rare types. Yeah. And I think, like, there's a way, like, objectively, like, looking at that as its own vocabulary, I wouldn't think anything of it, but I just know enough to know that, like, I don't care to engage. Like, it's just not, like, I don't want to, anyone that's in a van is not, like, that's fine, but that's nice. That's all I'm going to say about that. Like, I'm okay. I like what I have. I can be, I like to be respectfully, I don't know, superficial, or that's probably not the word. I like my nice things. Yeah. I like my nice things. That I'll leave it at that. But I think that there's kind of like there's an ego-driven desire to, that, like, ended with the 80s, of coming out as, like, the spiritual guru that has little and doesn't need a lot. So thank you, Nini. Yes, we all deserve, yes, you deserve all your nice things. We all deserve our nice things. And it's okay to ask for what you want. I think that there's people that, like, have capitalized on the, it's cool to cosplay like a spiritual person and that went to Colombia to find themselves, sort of thing. And so, or like the Costa Rica people too. Yeah, there's a lot I could say. We have a very close like childhood friend of my husband's that's from Costa Rica, so there's a lot. Yeah, trigger egos and literally believe that she watched herself get triggered. Yeah, and I think everyone want to be a monk. It's true. It's true, especially the white people that look like me that go down to Costa Rica, and I'm like, okay, great, but, like, did you tip the people that helped you, like, handsomely for what they should have done, because you got this resort for, like, 95% off from what it would have been if you went to, like, upstate New York, you know, like, those types of things where I'm like, let's not perpetuate what shouldn't be perpetuated. You know, I think of my husband's family is all in Cuba. They came here when he was, like, 2 or 3 years old, and it's just, like, I see it so close to home that it's, like, even before I didn't need to see it close to home to still, like, care about people. And I think that's just, like, a very, like, if you just believe in fundamental human rights, like, that's in and of itself. But yeah, I mean, as a reflector, I think, and a Scorpio moon. So you're, oh, Cuban, I love that. I love that. Is your other half Irish? Because then you'll be what my children are. I love that. That's so cool. I love that. What was I going to say? In relationship, yeah, there was something else I was going to go off on, but I've gone off a lot too in a couple things. Oh, okay, yeah. I know, that's like the whole, like, what white person found you when? Because my husband, even though he is Cuban, he looks very, oh, that's so cool. What a cool blend. I mean, how cool is it? Like, just talking, you have Irish, Chinese, Puerto Rican, which makes sense because of Cuban. For those of you who don't know, because Chinese and the political system, there's actually a decent Chinese population in Cuba. Yeah, I'm starting to see that people are really not empathetic and just very reactive, sympathetic. Ooh, I love that. Screenshot that. Write that down. Write that down. Yes, exactly me. Write that down. Yeah, I think it's like, it's fake empathy. And I think like knowing, like for me, I always say like when I hop on and if I just had like a troubling phone call or like if there's something else that happened in my personal life, like I'll address the elephant. But I think there's a lot of people like and that's that desperation of money. What exactly? The desperation of money when people hop on and they're doing readings or even just like going live to get gifts from people. It's like, look at like Ash Trevino. You know what I mean? Like it's like that type of person exists in the spiritual space too. So yeah, they found them not to be a good person. Yeah, exactly. That's why I loved like the human design experiment. And I also liked that, you know, when I was looking at human design versus astrology, initially I was like, I much prefer like human design right now because I feel like the general like types of conversations that I see around this before like the multi-level marketing girlies could get their claws into it, it was like it was just much more like the types of conversations, the way that I prefer to talk to people. Yeah, I don't cater to people's emotional reactions. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, do you have any other planets in Scorpio? If you don't mind me asking too. I'm like my little mental configuration of your chart. But yeah, it's literally my whole life was like me being assertive and honest, but still being a nice person or a good person, right? I don't know if everyone would constitute it as nice, but that's okay. I'm okay with that. Yeah, it's like it's like how people, oh yes, a Scorpio stellium, but definitely a Scorpio stallion. That's perfect. It wasn't the right word, but it also was at the same time. There's actually a great movie that I used to love as a kid that was called The Black Stallion. It was like such a random niche movie that my grandma used to put on for me and my dad, or like me and my dad all the time. But it was like that kind of, like just empower, like, I don't know. I love any like empowering the underdogs, animals, and human alike. And it was that kind of movie. Very beautifully filmed too. Oh, I still have yet to meet a projector. I kind of wonder if my cousin is one, but I don't know of her time of birth, and she's off the grid. Oh, I wonder. You could guess like if I don't have somebody's accurate birth time, I'll actually run their chart every hour. For everyone that I've read that didn't know exact time of birth, I don't think I've had somebody that hasn't known at all. It's been like maybe like they're like, oh, this may be like an hour off. Usually the difference is pretty stark, and you can tell, you know, there's some people that want to argue like you shouldn't do it without a birth time, but it's like I've read enough charts where I'm like, no, you're definitely like a reflector versus a manifesting generator or something like that, you know, or like knowing like, and there's also you can still get somebody's incarnation cross, like certain elements of their chart to still give a good reading, especially a 10-minute one. Excuse me. I can see projectors from a mile away. No, yes, there you go. Yes, that makes sense in your frequency. Like I can feel that, like I think people feel like a Scorpio stelliums are like very much so like projectors in terms of like the seeing, right? Like people don't like to feel they feel exposed in your presence. I'm starting to notice my projector channels are mad annoying. They always need attention. Yeah, or that's just how uncomfortable I am with them. Well, I think it's like hey, like I want you to recognize me. 2 out of my 3 channels are projector channels. I have the 1/8 channel, and then I have the 4426 channel. And then I'm the pure Mangen 3420, right, which is the generated channel. So for me, it's like I'm actually acting on my projector channels right now just by showing up and talking about what I want to talk about. 1/8 channel of inspiration is like, I wouldn't have 11 people, 12, 13 of us here together if I wasn't enacting. Like when I do, like if I do a co-working session on TikTok, it doesn't translate the same as it does on YouTube, because I've trained my YouTube for recognition of the co-working sessions, but I've trained my TikTok to be like, I want to do like Human Design Hotline, or like have conversations. Like if I'm just like, I don't want to just be sitting here on TikTok. It's like the portal is too intense, where it's like, but I can sit on YouTube and that's what works. So the channels have a type's energy. They do, because our energy type comes from what's called our circuitry, or the ways that our channels are plugged into each other. So V, for example, is completely open. When you're a reflector, you have 0 channels. That's why they're only 1% of the population, because it's more rare for your chart to not make at least one connection in a human design body graph. So I always love that. And it's helpful because I'm like, why do I operate or attract so many projectors? And I was like, well, duh, 2 of my 3 channels are projected like channels. So even though I'm a man gen, I operate very similarly to projectors. So it's like, especially because as a man gen, we're interested in efficiency. So also the efficiency piece is like very big for projectors, because I'm like, hey, I want to protect my energy. Benny keeps pushing this away, so I'm like rolling further away, trying to figure out how to be, oh, Pickle's Cage, I love that. Trying to figure out how to be in camera here, but also be on TikTok. But yeah. Pluto, Moon, and Lilith and Scorpio. Okay, yeah, so we're also Pluto and Scorpio generation. I resonate with that for sure. We're trying to expand both my pages right now. Yes, absolutely. 4/6 reflector, I love that. I don't bring up charts, V, just for like without people who have paid me. So I don't like put them into my chart generator and start reading. I'll have a conversation in the chat, but I don't do it just out of principle, because then everyone tries to get things from me for free. And I'm 10 years in. I'm like, my content's really good. My comment section is engaging. I respond to as many people as possible. But I don't like to start doing that. Yeah. So having that energy. Yeah. Thank you. I don't have the capacity. As a 1/3, I'm like, I'm not going to do it like that. Hi, Brian. Welcome. It has to be my Aquarius rising in Mars is like, and Mercury is like, it's one rule for all and for myself, or nothing. It's like we go by the black and white in that way. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, 4/6 reflector. Yeah, I think especially, I'm curious too, as a 4/6, are you past your first Saturn return? Because that also is interesting data. Yeah, it is interesting. I love like the being able to give you guys the quick tips like that, because it also helps you to like do a little bit of self-discovery better too, like even on your own research time. Oh, you are? Okay, yeah, you're on the roof. Yes. That's what was going to be my next question. Because until you go through your Saturn return, if you have a 6 in your profile, you operate as the 3rd line. Oh, 4/6 is yes. It's so funny because as a 1/3, I feel it's like that 3rd connection. Like the 3, I'm the 3 right before your 4, and like half of the beginning part of your life is very resonant with my 3 energy too. But it's cool to see. Oh, wow. Yeah. That's so funny. And the trial and error. Like, I love the trial and error of the 3rd line. Like, it's like, because life should be fun, you know, in that way, or of asking yourself, like, how can this be more fun? Like, and even for me, like, I'm like, a challenge is fun. Like, I'm here because I want to be challenged. I'm glad he's being so decent with covering his tail with his booty. Is on the roof before over the hill. I don't know if I've ever seen... Are you making a joke, or is Over the Hill actually something you saw in Human Design conversation? Because Human Design, or like Over the Hill, I know is also like the general age. I also like when I hear like, I know, I love a challenge too. Especially Mars ruling your chart. We love a good challenge. Sorry, Cassandra. Wait, maybe I could do it this way. Do you like it this way? Look at him. He's so funny. Do you like that? Oh. I could smell my... I have to figure out how to move you. Yeah, the general. Yes. And I think it's like with Aries, because as an Aquarius rising, my Aries is my 3rd house, right? So it's communication. And like being very quick with my communication too, right? So being able to, yeah, the general thing. No, yeah, on the roof is the human design term, just to clarify. But yeah, and I'm like, with Mars being the traditional ruler of Scorpio, it's like, and I think with being a Scorpio stellium too, like we can't help it, you know? It's like, how can we change things for the better? You're right, Pluto and Scorpio generation, it's like a lot of changes. Yes, thank you. Yeah, 30 to 50. I'm laughing at your experience with the projector. I'm like, that's just like very on brand, unfortunately. For that projector, at least. That's just disappointing. Especially when like there's so few people that have the ability to condense human design in a language that's palatable for social media. That's like not an easy. Once people start reading the definitive book of human design, they're like, oh, what the fuck? Like, I didn't realize that this is how people wrote about it. And so once you have somebody that's able to get people interested and then like turns people away from having a conversation, like the Professor 1-3 in me is like, oh, like why? My mom's a Pisces Sun, Cancer rising. Oh yeah, no, oh thank you. Yeah, he's like, I want to be cozy. I want to come back here. I can move it back here. Let's not chase. Don't bite the wires. I don't want you to get electrocuted. Now he'll go back. There we go. As much as I clean my desk, I always find a way to get more stacks of things and things that I have to move around. Yeah, so she thought I needed to be right. Right. I apologize on our behalf. There's some difficult ones out there. Listen, we also don't, thank you. We also, yeah, exactly. It's so true. We also don't, like, I don't push all my projectors into one bubble. Like, I'll definitely correct the behavior if I'm like, hey, like, let's not do that. But, I find projectors to be the ones that create the most disruptive energy if we had to like oversimplify it in that way. Like it's the most like repelling or like need for like see me because like your frequency is recognition, but it's like especially when you get projectors with a lot of Leo placements, it's like they kind of believe like any press is good press. And so hi Infinity, like any press is good press, so it's like mommy, see. It's like the Stewie Griffin where he's like, mom. It can be like that. So, because it's very like, it can be penetrating, right? But it's like okay, like, but everything, like, let's take a second. Let's like breathe. Like, let's lean in here and see like what is the framework of what environment I'm engaging in. That's important too. Where Ross said XYZ. He also said he didn't fully understand us. Yeah, exactly. I think I also think because I'm an art historian by university degree. So for me, like I'm always looking at Ra Uru through the lens of like the historical context in which he was writing about human design in general, remembering that like he's a marketing guy. Like to be honest with you, like thanks for the system, but like I'm like more interested in seeing, which is exactly what he would have wanted anyway, wants anyway as a manifestor, RIP, is like for people to do the experiment themselves. And so it's like, I've informed you of this in my manifestor way, but like I don't want to hold your hand through everything. And then like certain vocabulary words, like, you know, it's like, and that's where I love like the first argument of anyone's who's like human design isn't real. They're like, yeah, it was a channeled work. Like he said this, and I'm like, okay, but when has there ever been an idea that you had about creating something that wasn't downloaded or wasn't an idea that you've channeled? Like it's the same, like, so it's like you're arguing about the semantics of the vocabulary versus like, you know, it's like he put all these things together, but if you look into the systems that go into human design, they exist cross-culturally in other disciplines. The hexagrams, the gates, the profile lines are all from the I Ching. Then we see the Kabbalah interaction. So having that, like, those lenses, yeah. I don't know. And it's like, what are people doing for like rage bait to argue with each other on the internet versus like actually having constructive conversation? So like, I had one post where I was like, I'm curious to see like who are the people that think human design is a cult. So like 2 years ago, I made a post about it, but like it, you know, it lived its life cycle, and then it's not like anyone's commenting on it now because like it lived and died, and you know, other content to be created was more interesting to me, and I think to other people too. So we see a lot of that too. It's a cult for me, I know. And I think it's like I could have a cult of a Cheeto, you know, and like I could make my Cheeto cult, but it's like anything could be like, and then it's like, do you meaning it in a cute way, or like how do we? But I don't worship at the feet of anyone, and certainly not Ra-Uru-Hu. So I don't do all that. But another day explaining the way that the world works. I have like a view. I open up both my windows, so when I look up and out to like help me in my squirrel brain of connecting my thoughts, I have like the mountains, and then I see like the skyline here. So I always am like kind of scanning back and forth for the perspective. Yeah, that was like a Freudian like slip. I didn't actually think about, like, I truly meant Cheeto, like the food, not the other kind, but that exists too. Obviously, unfortunately. I've just never been understood as well as human design does. Yeah, absolutely. I think to me, it's like we took all of the individual ways that we're trying to complicate something, and like we've put all these different systems together that help make it make more sense, right? Like we've allowed for nuance, and yeah, no, I understand. Like the nuance is important, or like connecting red thread. Red thread has also come up a lot too. You know what's weird? I swear up and down I read in a book about human design where a man went somewhere and this man measured him over and over and had all these numbers and then told him his design. But then I realized the whole origin of human design, so I don't know where that came from. Oh, I don't know. I don't know if I've read anything about that either. I'm trying to think of like which book, because there's like the little black book that Ra-Uru-Hu has. It sounds like something that would have been in one of those types of books. Definitely not any of the newer ones. I'll have to go, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, sometimes I wonder if others had downloads at the same time that were similar. Well, I think it's like, you know how, like in the book, Big Magic, she explains this, Elizabeth Gilbert. Yes, exactly. Exactly. She explains how, like, we have to enact on our idea, because if we don't enact on it, then, like, the universe wants that to get out to us collectively. I don't always like to say the collective, although, like, sometimes it's apropos, but, like, I don't always like to, just because of the whatever. But basically, how we all have certain downloads that we have, and it's like it's wanting to be gifted to be shared with the world in some way. So who gets recognition for it, in what way, in what form? It's like somebody has to do it. So I'm sure, you know, in the way that it's like changed, but I felt the same way. Like Prince MJ, exactly. Let me go back, because I'm sure there's some, we're giving up our language because people don't understand how to manage their emotion. Yes. I was just talking about adult, for anyone to read that wants, like, to understand emotionally immature people, adult children of emotionally immature parents, and how that's very helpful for people who are in client-facing positions that attract really needy people. Does the book have 444 on purpose? I don't know which one is it, or which book. I haven't looked at the actual page number, but that's funny. I know, like, I mean, there's a lot of, you mean like most of our society, exactly. But I'm like in my way, like my Piscean way, as you know, but I'm a gate 63 Pisces sun, so gate of doubt, gate of skepticism, but I'm hope motivation. So I'm like, I'm still at least optimistic that in our, is it the definitive? There's more than one. So like there's this one, does this have 444? Yeah, 448, 49. Oh yeah, I didn't even realize that. That's so funny. It might, but I don't know. I think that was just a happy little accident, in the words of Bob Ross. I never looked at that. That's so funny. But I don't know. If so, they didn't tell me. If so, I haven't seen anything where they confirmed or denied. But I mean, I think there's also tools and tactics that people will use like that too, to be able to make us believe that there's something there. It's kind of like Stranger Things. Like, even though the ending was disappointing, like so many fans have written alternative endings because, like, the way that they actually wrote the finale was like it could have been done so much better. We like to make our own beliefs in that too. But yeah, it is cute. I love any fours. Fours are always a good number. But yeah, in the last 15 minutes or so that I'm here, let me know if you guys have any other questions, comments, curiosities. I know I was disappointed it just like, why go through the whole, like even just the season with Eddie, like why go through the whole process of how great the writing was, building up that character, the fight scenes, like that it had so much room to breathe, that in the end it was like, and then I saw that one of the writers was getting a divorce, one of the Duffer brothers was getting a divorce as the final season was being written, and then they got like a couple other shows, one that was canceled, but other ones that are going to happen on Netflix. So I'm like, oh, it's just kind of like Game of Thrones Part 2, where you're like, let's wrap it up. But yeah, I was just like, wow, you could have, I don't know if you've ever seen, bye Mo, see you soon. There's that Netflix show called Bandersnatch. It's on Netflix. Google that on Netflix, nowhere else. But basically when you're looking on Netflix, like it's like a choose your own ending. Like you can choose other endings of it. And so, yeah, Pebble, I will in 1 second. Or Peebles. Peebles or Pebbles? Or Heather. I'll say Heather. But when you have, like, you can choose your own ending. So my husband and I were like, I think that, like, maybe they'll come out with it where, like, we were supposed to have, like, extra hours that they said that they never released, or, like, the original schedule for what they said was going to be released, like, the timing was off, whatever. And I'm like, oh, maybe they'll do, like, a Baldur's, or Bandersnatch like style ending, but alas, that did not happen. Again, Pisceans dreaming simultaneously. But the short TikTok condensed answer is that channels are basically when you have two gates connecting. So our gates in human design are different astrological coordinates that we have that are within a 5-degree window. So for example, if you have Virgo gate 40 and Pisces gate 37, that's where our north and south node are. They connect. Yeah, I agree with you, V. They connect and they say, okay, we're going to work together to create a different flow of energy. Whenever you have a channel, it's what causes definition in 2 of your chakras or energy centers in human design. So it's a flow of energy between those energy centers, between these energy centers that create a flow of energy that create a flavor of your aura or a way that you enact on your personality. Thank you, Angel. I just got them done yesterday. But yeah, so I loved it. Like not all gates, or somebody asked me, Rory, who's one of my manifestors in Patreon, asked me about if you have a Virgo stellium, if that means that it'll, like, the stelliums or multiple planets in the same zodiac sign will create channels in your human design body graph, and the answer is no, because not all, there's different gates that sit in each of the energy centers. So basically, when you're looking at a human design body graph, like I'll show you Steph's, who I read for earlier today. Oh, you do? Oh, I love that. Give me one, Heather, that pops out to you. I am. One, Heather, that pops out to you, and we can talk a little bit about that channel. But essentially, right, like Steph, as an example, has gate 36, which is a Pisces gate placement, gate of crises. And then she has a gate 35, which creates an emotional wave for her. So that's a little bit of like 2.0, but basically it creates a connection where her throat and her emotions are going to be working together. There we go. Oh, no spoilers here. I was like, oh no, did I say something that spoiled the ending for somebody? Hi, Yuri. I don't know what it is. What it is it? Ooh, 1057. Oh, I love that. Okay, so gate 10 is this gate. I would look at also the profile line that's there. So in every one of the gates that we have that connects for you specifically, it's your G center and your spleen, right? So when we're looking at gate 10 in its like oversimplification is like having a love of life. It's one of what we call the love gates in human design. So it's being able to go back to like, this is supposed to be fun. We're supposed to have a good time. Like what I came here. Oh, bye, Cassandra. Thank you so much for the tip, and I'll see you soon. Thank you for being here. It was nice to see you and spend more time with you finally. I'll see you soon. Our moon is in Libra today, by the way. But gate 10, and looking at the profile line will help you get a better sense of, because every one of our gates is a different decimal and number 1 through 6 after it. There's a different flavor energy that each of our gates have. Now for you, when it connects to gate 57 is a Libra placement that is the gate of intuitive clarity. So it creates a lot of, if you really want to work with like getting a sense of your intuitive senses, like working on your psychic abilities, the moon is going to be activating gate 57 even more so. So shining a light on the gate 57 that you already have within, it may have already happened actually, but we've had the moon in Libra today and tomorrow. For a bit of the day. So basically figuring out like how can you get more in tune with your primal instincts and fears, whatever it is that you want to see, how that connects like you're just being able to be yourself. Like when you really sit with yourself as Heather. And ironically, whatever the channels are, the gate placements that we have, those can also be the things that we reject most easily, because it's like, okay, this is our biggest lesson and what we incarnated here to learn, and figuring out how to understand these placements more so we can understand like what is our true life's purpose. But yeah, let me know any follow-up questions to that. Interesting how that's going on, and I found my way here. Oh, it's okay. I don't know. Yeah. Wait, what's going on? Gate 57? Or, I don't know if you're talking about Stranger Things. Hi, Jean. Welcome. All I do is have fun. I love that. Oh, a coffee flower shop. I love that. Oh my gosh, I love that. Are you in a major city? I wanted to say Nashville was my knee-jerk reaction because that was the first time I had seen a place like that. Aw, that's so sweet. Although there's a few that have cropped up in the last 10 years, but no, none of them super close to me. Aw, hi Brazil, welcome, welcome. Oh, my design date is gate 57. So, oh, Georgia, I love that. That's awesome. Close to where Stranger Things was filmed. A lot of things. So, your design, when's your birthday, Nini? Because 3 months, it would be, your design date would be about 88 days or 3 months before. Which I think it would be, well, it would be roughly one of the other cardinal signs. So I think that's Libra. Yeah. Our Capricorn is gate 54, Libra is gate 57. Some of them like in human design, gates actually do have cusps, even though that's not like always true of astrology. So, okay. Yeah, so gate 54 is, wait, was it your birthday recently? Gate 54 is the gate this week. So we have gate of vitality, or gate of drive rather, excuse me, gate 58. Oh, happy belated. Yes. Okay. Yes. Happy belated. Aw. I hope you had a good time. Yeah, gate 54. Okay, so gate 54 is going to be your personality sun. Gate 57 is going to be your design sun. Yeah. Aw, yeah. I hope it was enjoyable. Aw, I love this as a time for you to be like, get out. You're like, I got to get on my Zoom. It's funny, I just looked over and I saw 54 again too. So we have a pile up of planets, that have been in gate 54, gate of drive. It's like being, like, that's why, like, you will always have a drive in you that nobody else will understand. Like, even when other people tell you to stop, you should keep going. Like, they would stop for them, right? That may be a them moment of wanting to, pause or rest or give up, but resting isn't the same as giving up. So I feel like a lot of my gate 54 folks have that. Yeah. Oh, that's amazing. Congratulations. Yes. That's so fun. And I think noticing like how much like, oh, unconscious moon. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Gate 50. So I'm trying to do like the quick. Oh yeah, because I'm gonna make a post on Instagram today after this about gate 61, because we just transitioned into gate 61, gate of mystery today, Capricorn energy. So allowing ourselves to indulge in the mysterious. But yeah, I'm so excited for you. That's so nice. To have like, and finally seeing like even more so like collaborations or connections with people that you and businesses that actually feel like they appreciate you, or it's like a fun collaboration or something that you can actually use repeatedly, right? That's always helpful too. Little candle. It's so cool. I love like the, it peels right off, but the way that the candle like melts down. I always love to have my candles lit. But that's awesome. But yeah, I'm going to be on for like 5 more minutes. So anyone else that wants to ask. Hi, Kevin. Welcome, welcome. You see me in my work element today. I'm wrapping up a live about doing human design readings right now. So Usually you have seen me in my co-working sessions. Welcome. But I need the money by tomorrow. No, I understand. And especially during this time, like for any of you guys, like you guys that are like, okay, like the money needs like to be here by yesterday, not even tomorrow. Like just communicate with any type of like credit card companies, you know, anyone that you owe money to in any sort of way, like communication. And a lot of places are more forgiving and they'll work with you if you just call instead of ignoring, because there are real people who pick up the phone once you actually hit zero enough to connect to a representative. I've done that before in the past. I also used to work in a call center, which is how I met my husband in insurance. So we see how that plays out too. Yeah, so funny. Oh, let me do this. Next Wednesday, or this coming Wednesday, I should say, on the 14th, I'm actually doing a psychic mediumship / human design readings with my colleague, Alyssa, who's a psychic medium. She's a Capricorn rising Sagittarius sun. So we're going to do some 2-for-1 readings together, $30, 10 minutes. Link is in my bio. We had a couple people that signed up, or one person right now that signed up ahead of time. So she booked for then. We have a good few spots open. We'll be open or be on for 2 hours at 7 o'clock. So we have that too. Yeah, absolutely, Deanna Brenna. Thank you for having space for me. Hi, Ansel. For me, I am learning so much that I'm now practicing from you. Thank you so much. No, I'm so happy to help. And thank you for actually doing the work. Thank you for actually taking the advice and growing. You're like one of my most amazing testimonials, because it's like, I'm not just being like, hey, do this. And then you're like, okay, that sounds great. And then not even doing anything. So thank you. I'm happy to convey it. Thank you for actually giving me a good testimonial. I'm going to screenshot that. I appreciate the appreciation. It's nice to be acknowledged and it's nice to be thanked. So thank you. Yeah, and so if you have a question about human design, you have 2 minutes. Go. How fast can you type? Now. I've been on for 2 hours, so I'm hitting my wall, and I have a couple other things to do. Hi, Rejoice. How are you? Yeah, absolutely. It's way more fulfilling when you see someone actually put in the work. Yes, absolutely. Listen, that was like before you hopped on, that was my first hour, like literally talking about that. So I'm from the US. Where are you from? That's so funny. Hi, Rejoice. I know of Cat's Eye, like I know the name, but other than that, that's as far as I know. I'm also 32, so I don't know if that's an age thing. I listen as a projector. In Leo rising, I have to listen. LOL. Yes, but I know who I am. Well, you know who you are, and you're also confident. Like there's a lot of people that like, you know, and you have self-worth. Like, even though if you feel like your voice shakes or the boundaries aren't there, like, you know, in your heart of hearts, like even in the day that your voice shakes, that you know who you are. So like that to me, like I can't work with somebody that doesn't have like, even if their self-worth is, you know, like it takes some hits every once in a while. I can't be with like nurturing somebody who doesn't have that, like pride in that beautiful, because I'm an Aquarius rising, right? So like I understand it as a sister sign, but like I can't inform people out of low self-worth and not understanding that. Absolutely. It helps so much. That defined G center helps a lot. I do find that because I have it defined, I have a lot of people who have it open that don't know how to use it properly as a proper mirror. Exactly. As a proper mirror, like they don't, it's like they become resentful and they want, I think as a projector, I would be curious if you as a projector with a defined G center, if you attract people who don't have that as much, or don't have defined, not as much, it doesn't make any sense, but that's my brain being like, pew, gate 5, gate of routines, like, okay, we're at our last minute. I know, and I have such an affinity for good Leo risings, but it's just like, it could be like such a weight on your spirit when you have somebody with good Leo placements that like just doesn't have like the self-confidence. It's like people are supposed to hear you roar, but it's like it's like people who speak louder. Like if you yell, it doesn't mean that I'm going to hear you at all, right? Like if you yell, it doesn't mean that like you're right. So There you go. I'm actually hopping off for the evening. I'll be back on Thursday. My live schedule is Thursdays and Saturdays. Thursday night, 7:30 to 8:30 Eastern. It was lovely to meet you too. Thanks for being here. It was cool to see myself in another way, in an Aries rising vessel. So nice to meet you. But yeah, I'm on Thursdays 7:30 to 9:30 Eastern, and then I'll be back on again on Saturday. Next Saturday I'll be on 3:30, and then Wednesday actually will be the first time that I'm on next week. I will be on TikTok and YouTube from 7 to 9 with Alyssa doing dual readings. So thank you guys for being here. It was so nice to spend time with all you guys. I will be back again on Wednesday, and then my YouTube folks, I will see you guys for the co-working session that we'll do together on Monday, bright and early. Not really early.